I've just come to accept that I'm going to miss a week or two because life happens. It's been another hard 2 weeks personally, but fairly productive on the quilting front. 2 weeks ago, we lost our second faculty member of the year. So I spent most of last Thursday a blubbery mess trying to hold it together for my students while I mostly listened to them trying to process it. Mitch Greenberg was the kind of guy who was never going to retire. And he taught until the day he died. So, while trying to distract myself, I graded a butt ton of papers and quilted up a storm. My boyfriend moved my ironing table down where I wanted, and I put the borders on the Meadowlands. Then I finished putting all of the owl blocks together. Later, Natalie and I played around with some of the possible additions to my owl quilt. I drew some mice styles that I mostly took off of clip art from the internet. But once we settled on style, we came up with a design where I'm going to be adding 2 mice and a mouse hole. Natalie drew little number blankets on them, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, I know, Arthur. That's a horrible idea. Not really. Then, of course, this week was QuiltCon. So my guild had a watch party to watch the awards ceremony. And then Facebook was filled with everyone showing off their class projects and talking about the lectures they went to. I knew I had limited time, so I didn't buy a lecture pass. But Natalie and I took a class, Joe Avery's Curved Landscapes. I went small and just used my Kona scrap bin. And Natalie, well, she went large because she always does. When I last saw it, she'd finished her hillscape and had decided to use some of the ice dyes for the trees. We finally installed the new lights over my long arm, and they are even brighter than the old ones that burnt out. Yay! I started this top from a friend of mine that I promised to quilt BC, which is, before Corona. Next up, I've got a t-shirt quilt that my mom made for my sister, full of her Boys and Girls Club staff shirts, or should I say SAF. Did I mention my mom can't spell? I am debating about whether to hand embroider a T or just pick out the word staff. Natalie and I did another round of snow dye, just one container this time. We put some Kona charcoal and some PFD white Kona in to try and come up with a more textured background for my owl wall. Then on Thursday, we got our emails from the county saying we could go get our vaccine shot. Now, I already had 2 appointments. I had one that was postponed for the Rite Aid for March 15th. And then I had one from CHOP in the school district for, today. But Natalie wanted some moral support. And, we have to drive 45 minutes out to the vaccine center. So she's like, come with me. When we got there, no one asked about appointments, and they were only concerned that I had received an email saying that I was eligible. So I was there, and it was much more convenient to get it on a Friday after school rather than, at Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning and then rush back. So, cue the CDC card selfies. Natalie, after that, wanted to go for a drive. She's on a quest to visit as many covered bridges as possible, so before I knew it, we were on our way to New Britain. I kept thinking to myself, New Britain, why do I know New Britain? Why do I know that place? And then it hit me. That's where Burn Sewing Center is, where I bought my long arm. And the cover bridge just so happened to be like less than a mile away from it, so I couldn't not stop in. I mean, we did need some pink Kona. While we were there, one of our quilting buddies, Pretty Piney, posted that she was cleaning out some of her smaller projects and samples. All you had to do was provide shipping or porch pickup. And Natalie's like, yeah, let's go for another drive. So on Saturday, we got in her car and drove 90 minutes to Jersey. Pretty Piney, aka Becca, lives on a cranberry farm in the New Jersey Pines, a very beautiful section of the country that I've never actually seen before. Her driveway was a little nerve-wracking to drive down, but we spent a good 2 hours hanging out 10 feet apart on a covered porch talking about quilting and birds and how darn good it felt to just be almost within like hugging distance. We got home about 6 o'clock and just crashed. And I mean, that tired lasted for all of Sunday. And Natalie felt it too, so we think it might have been a response to the vaccine. But I am totally willing to trade a sore arm and a day or two of sitting on the couch tired for the possibility of getting a little bit of normal back into my life. Yeah, so that's been these past 2 weeks. Until next time, stay safe and stay creative. Say goodbye, George. Say goodbye, George. No? Okay, fine.